love playing it up against Wardell and the boys, but for Heretics coming into this, I'm actually really worried. We used to see them being an amazing team when it came to Inferno, but the roster's changed a lot since last season.
Yeah, I feel like they still tend to make them very, very competitive games. But as you said, also kind of a lot of their competition also not on the same level as who they're up against right now. So I do feel like Dignitas probably going to be favored to try and take this 2-0, but I'm definitely not going to be counting Heretics out. And they wouldn't even let me finish my sentence before they immediately shut me up, because Emeka comes through with a quick quad kill, one from Lucky as well, and that round's over before it begun. We've seen Dig go straight up mid and get demolished. That's the start Heretics need. Worth noting, though, we did see them get the pistol back on that previous map as well, go up 2-0, and then after that begin to struggle a little bit. So ideally, you do want Heretics beginning to take some early control here, try and take this anti-eco in a clean fashion, especially. On a map like Inferno, for sure. I mean, Dust 2, you can kind of get away with those weaker investments a bit more, but here on Inferno, you do need those nades, especially for holding off those choke.
Oh, most definitely. The CT side, I mean, I used to have a lot of buddies wouldn't play Inferno because you could just smoke it, and run the clock down. But that was when we were back before we understood the maybe more in-depth side of Counter-Strike. But it is definitely a map where you feel the impact of the CT side having a good economy built up. Now, on weaker buys, when you've got SMGs, when you've got pistols, the viability is definitely there compared to other maps. I mean, we used to talk about Heretics back in the last season or so, like a couple months back when David P was around, how they would always have this economic advantage over their opponents playing with an auto shotgun the majority of the time, that XM in towards the apartments to hold it, and that's a significant amount of map control for what is a very low investment. I'm curious to see if Heretics maybe still slide towards that style of approach. We'll see as time goes on, but for the moment, we've got a smoke going down in towards the apartments. I don't know if that was meant for middle, but we had a little bit of mid-aggression to poke out and see what's happening. You know they're up against Glocks, and they do as well. And so realistically, you don't want to give it too many opportunities over to your teammates, or to your opponents, excuse me, to shut you down. That said, they are pushing bottom mid, which is a very brave play on this round.
Yeah, I think those Zerk there who turned around just in time to actually spot it. Unfortunately, as you said, with just Glocks, not really much that they can actually do about it. As soon as that actual contact from the bottom of mid was taken, and we also had the other players swinging out towards the top. So straightforward round. We are going to see with that Heretics being able to build up a bit of money, but obviously having invested extremely heavily into SMGs in that previous round, they're not really going to be upgrading. So with that, we have 3 MP9s still being in play, a UMP, and just the 1 M4. So this is a really good chance, as we've seen back on that previous map, to try and actually get that first gun round for Dignitas. If they do, a very good opportunity to start actually building up some momentum off the back of it. I mean, there would still be some money for Heretics to buy onto a few of the players, but on the CT side, those shaky buys are never ideal. So this is a very important round now for both of these teams about who's going to be able to start getting some momentum at the beginning of this map. And that is confident right there. Lucky actually is able to get that kill on Fryeburg with the Molotov. Unfortunately, he does lose a teammate in the meantime. It was Kiyoshima who actually went in for the peak. So I don't think they can really continue to challenge Banana at this point. I'm surprised Lucky's sticking around. Once that smoke begins to go, especially, then Forest will actually have help. But that works. All right.
Just doming them away. Things are looking good. Dignitas come in. Whoops. That nade on the get right hurt. Looked like it was going to hurt a lot, but it didn't. It did 2 HP. Look at the sneaky play coming down from XMS, though. Talked about the viability of an XM on this map, but sadly, not an XMS. As he goes down without the frag, and it's all down to Lucky to ace it out. Yeah, I don't think we really believed in that coming through. Not the biggest of shames for Heretics, with mostly a bonus round being played out. They have the ability to still buy up here with Kiyoshima and XMS taking weaker weapons. As we discussed, the XM would go on XMS in towards the apartments. You could have Kiyoshima maybe renegotiating his position over towards B, but they decided to just go down to pistols, which is another decision I would agree with. I wouldn't slate it. And full smokes as well. We already talked about the annoyance of playing up against that. Especially when there's pistols on the other side of the smoke.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be better to get the pistols rather than, say, a weaker rifle or something if you want to actually get the utility alongside it. Because, as I said, so many small choke points, if you can manage to conserve those smokes, run the time low, those pistols, as you said, can be extremely dangerous still. But Dignitas, I mean, so far in this round, not having too tough of a time, they were able to pretty easily get that banana control. I mean, we don't see Team Heretics trying to challenge it. Instead, just taking a little bit of a stack over towards this B side of the map, boosting one up in the CT spawn as well. But Dig, I mean, they're not really set in stone about committing to anywhere at the moment, I don't believe. Instead, just slowly working to get control, try and get banana, which they've already gotten, try and then get the brackets around middle, which they were looking to a moment ago. And once they do get that, of course, that opens up a lot of options for them to work with, especially up against those weaker weapons. They restrict the info for the CT side a lot as well. There's a car rally, and I don't know if that can be heard. I need to close my window.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm hearing any rally sounds just
A little
yet.
scrambler, I think it is.
We might hear some rallying coming through from Dignitas as they start to move in and take the CT side's map control completely out of their hands. We'll take A for free, thank you very much, as they start to roll on up and get that bomb plan in just a couple seconds. Heretics are on the rotate through, but I mean, in this position, you probably want to play for exits, right? They're going for a safe, be safe, but they've got money to buy up in the next round. Armor only on Lucky and Nivara. And the USP even for Maka. I understand not wanting to give them the $100 or whatever, the 200 IQ from Maka. Clearly he believes in the strat. But to be honest, like Kiyoshima and Maka, I'd rather see just sitting maybe towards the CT spawn, bottom banana, something like that, and trying to catch a couple of kills. Maybe carry a rifle forward if they're really lucky.
Yeah, I agree. It's not like they have a lot to lose. I guess Kiyoshima having a smoke, especially, he wants to carry that over into the next round, just add a little bit to his own buy, since it's not going to be perfect. Lucky and Nivara obviously do have to save with their Kevlar, but Maka, he could have went out. I guess just leaving him here in case someone pushed in, trying to actually hunt them down, which was very unlikely to happen considering they didn't have a lot to take away from them.
And actually, as you bring up the smoke, like realistically, if you send, because that is a good point, Kiyoshima's not going to hunt then, saving the deagle, the smoke. You send Maka out with the USP by himself, he is basically just free money for Dignitas. Like, the chances of him winning even a 1v1, if they happen to be pushing alone out towards middle or something like that, he's probably still not going to win the fight.
Yeah, so just keep him with the rest of the players. If by any chance Dignitas did go wild and decided they wanted to try and hunt those kills, and they would have had at least a little bit of a buffer. But right now, coming into the gun round, obviously, we actually see the op available for Maka for the moment, though. Lucky's in trouble. Yeah, I was going to say pinned in between those two Molotovs, could have just about backed off, but doesn't get the chance to. Instead, the flash comes over, Zerk backs it up at the peak, and there's a quick advantage. A man advantage as well as control of banana now going in favor of Dignitas very early on in this round.
That's incredibly valuable for Heretics. They're in a rough spot where they don't know. Maybe these T's are right outside B. They could be on the car ready to push through, but instead, they're actually coming up through the A site. Maka's caught in the open. A fantastic flash by Fryeburg. As Maka can't see a thing, loses the glass cannon op. XMS looks to trade and successfully does it. But ooh, if he goes back... Oh, Exist! Exist just lost 96 HP to a Molotov. Their Molotov, even. But luckily... He's all right afterwards, because they're going in for a save, so it doesn't look like he'll be punished.
Still existing for now.
Hey, there you go. I couldn't believe that was a...
I shouldn't be existing after saying that one, sorry.
You shouldn't, no. It's all right. We'll allow it. You get one per game.
One per game, is that it?
Yeah, that's all.
That quote is too low.
One per half. Is that better?
Yeah, thank you. But now I have pressure to think of one every half. Damn it, Mitch. Kyo, though, he might actually get an AK. If he can steal this AK from Fryeburg and just run away, that's a big weapon to carry into the next round. Unfortunately, not realizing that no one else is immediately coming up on him. Obviously, having to be a little bit cautious about it. Will eventually go ahead and upgrade. And with that, Heretics will save over all three weapons. So, yet again, the save comes true. But Dignitas, they've taken three rounds in a row at this point. They're doing it relatively cleanly, keeping 3 alive, 5 alive, and then 3 alive again. So, they are beginning to stack up that economy a little bit here early on the D side. And for anyone who may just be joining us, and for anyone who doesn't see the top of their screen at the moment, it is currently a 1-map lead for Dignitas. So this is not the start you want to see from Heretics if you are a Heretics fan.
It's the best thing. People coming in and just saying, "What's the score?" It's like, bro, look at the stars. It's like Mario. A star is a point. I know that's not how Mario works, but you know what? I just don't care. Dignitas
It's actually been a very long time since I played Mario properly.
Oh, Mario Odyssey, unreal game.
I have my Switch Lite there, but I need to buy some Mario games first. I want Smash Bros first.
Yeah, you need the practice. I'll give you that.
Rude.
Look, they wanted to go for a little bit of early banana control. Mollies go down to completely halt any aggression there. But later on, they're going to push through. They've only lost a couple of seconds. It's all good. Shift walking up, looking for some combat. They know there's an op in play at the moment, but Maka has been historically playing in towards long on A. With the inability to get a double op setup, Heretics are unlikely to have an op posted on Banana. But in comes Maka eventually. He is here, but they've lost one to Zerk. Flash through, let the player up close, and as soon as he scopes, they'll know he's here. This is a bit of a rough one, really, for Maka. The molly gives away his position. They luckily haven't spammed him down. But as Kiyoshima falls, very much locked out of this. Unless Maka can get... It has to be a free kill and fall back, even. But the op, he's unlikely to get more than just one, if at all. But there it is.
That's time again. No,
I think with that kill, they'd probably go for this. But they've got to wait 10 seconds and the smokes will fade. Then they can get up in there and try to get... Oh my god, Maka. I think he just shot the scope off of Zerk's weapon.
Yeah, I caught that from Zerk's point of view, and it did sound like it was very, very close indeed. But yeah, as you said, the issue was, despite getting that kill there, the smoke was still down. If that had faded away and they got a kill quickly enough, then there was definitely still a chance. But they realized, now we can't do this. They have to just back away again and try and actually save in for, I believe, the third round in a row. This time not saving as many weapons over, though. They actually were able to keep 3 alive in the previous 4 and the one before that. Actually keeping 3 alive again here, so it will actually allow for them to maybe pull out a little bit. The issue is only really Kiyoshima can buy for himself. If Maka does want to drop over a rifle, he's going to be limiting himself with not actually being able to get any utility behind his own weapons. So I think they're deciding against the force buy. Not the worst idea. The only issue is not investing much else apart from a few pistols. It is a round you definitely do favor dig in, and obviously being in a good position to try and actually extend this lead up 5-2 very early on the T side as well. So that'll be a great foundation for Dignitas to work with. Even if at that point you do see Heretics start to actually build back in a bit, if Dignitas are able to just grind out another couple rounds, then they'd be in a great position. But I'm not going to count them out here because, I mean, an op for Maka. Unfortunately, Maka taking down low. Everything I say just seems to jinx people.
Yeah. Maka's got an op and he's dead. We're very, very close to it. Luckily, no frag grenade making its way towards him. And him! Oh, no, he misses the shot. Time to biggity bail out of there. He might have caught them by surprise with the fact that we saw them in the previous round playing so slow towards Banana, but as soon as they spot the op is there, they know something funky's going down. They start to move in towards the A bomb site, but they're smoked out. And so any ideas of going fast into this round now just start to ease off a little bit. The issue here is they've stopped them from pushing A, and Dignitas now preferencing in towards the B bomb site with just Get Right lining up a smoke to fake out A presence. And this is sold Heretics completely. Kiyoshima is the only one left on B. He's got a deagle, a smoke, and a flash, and not a world of hope.
I mean, Kiyoshima is kind of screwed right now. Unless he manages to somehow find like 2 quick instant deagle headshots, then at that point maybe try and waste a bit of time. But unfortunately caught out in the open. Immediately blinded as well. Yeah, he was kind of just spamming away at that point, hoping he'd connect something. Unfortunately goes down, and again it's the save. Not for a very long time.
Remember when the guy comes out of the kitchen just shooting I don't know what it is, a revolver or something? Like a madman, and it perfectly goes around the 2 guys. Felt like that was what happened.
Pretty much what happened there, yeah.
Like surely at least 1 bullet would land. Nope. Unlucky Kiyoshima. But still, saving the 3 weapons, it's definitely not the worst outcome that could have been in play here for Heretics. The only problem for them is Dignitas have built up 5 rounds now on the T side, and they haven't lost a single player here. And I doubt they will.
They've forced Heretics to save the last 4 rounds in a row. I mean, they've only had to get... They got 5 kills in the last 3 rounds to win them. Not including this one.
In the last 3. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And now add on 1 more. 6 kills in the last 4 rounds was all they needed to win those 4 rounds. That's kind of insane.
It's pretty ridiculous.
No, man.
Like, the thing is, pretty much every time you see them go for a bomb site, it's either B late, locking them out with smokes, getting a plant, and they have plenty of utility, or then over towards A when they were just bombing forward, finding 2 kills on short, and that's it. Constantly, we're seeing Heretics gamble on stacks like 3 men over towards B. We haven't seen it this early on the majority of the time. I think we saw it once before, but...
You think that's when you'd see it mostly, so that they can get the initial control and then rotate 1 back. Or potentially 2, depending on the offer.
They have a 3-man stack early on, and where's their control? So far, this is the most that they've had. Pushed up close to the wall. They nade Fryeburg, and now they're starting to fall back a little bit. It's a big problem for Heretics playing this passive in banana control, because What was the point of 3-man stacking early on? What, to get an extra nade down or stop them from rushing? That's more or less the only
I think
purpose.
that's what it is. I think they had to do that just to kind of challenge for the top part of Banana.
Yeah.
Which is very unfortunate. Normally, as you said, you see the 3-man stack over so that they can get the smoke down deep, the mollies in each corner, clear the angles out, maybe push down a player, maybe leave an op on the corner so he can be alone and just play for info, play it to slow down and allow rotations. At the moment, though, it is just looking like it may be that A hit. For the moment, anyways. I mean, they've got the mid control, so they could still, if they wanted, bring it back up Banana, take it over towards that side of the map. But not having the top of Banana itself, I think they definitely are going to be looking to try and commit this on A. And that's quite a good find by XMS, being proactive there, getting aggressive in the apartments alongside Maka. They find one kill. They got a bit of info about what's going on and have now forced Dignitas to shy away and to begin to take this back over towards B, where they will find Lucky and Kiyoshima. Nice crossfire, though.
Yeah, good positions being held. No utility, though. That's a big problem. Lucky's up behind the smoke. He couldn't catch Fryeburg. Eventually, he sees him, but not in time. They'd already cleared out the bomb site, so Zerk didn't need to look anywhere else, and with that, the bomb plan comes through. Dignitas, again, 2 kills. 2 kills, and Heretics
8 kills in 5 rounds.
Ridiculous.
All they've needed to win them.
Absolutely ridiculous. I feel like one of the problems here for Heretics is the lack of an op towards B to solo hold that control. The lack of, certainly, control going down towards bottom Banana, as we pointed out. And, again, it seems like they're playing so scared on B that they have to 3-man rotate, or play it 3-man early on, just to sort of stop themselves from being overwhelmed and rushed down, as opposed to in order to take that proactive control and hopefully have a stack on A information down towards the bottom and middle. I mean, you shouldn't be forced to say what is this? 5 rounds in a row they've saved?
Yeah.
That's insane.
It has been. I mean, they've never saved with less than 3. And it just shows you that they lose the bomb site and they can't even try and rotate most of the time.
I do want to say, I love their decision making so far in terms of when they're in those negative situations, that they're saving, that they're not overcommitting. We saw from Dignitas, like Fryeburg rushing up with an M4 and a 1v or a 2v, no 3, excuse me, V5, but his 2 teammates were on long with USPs. He lost the M4, and it's just a bad decision financially. But what we're seeing from Heretics is certainly a much more conscientious approach. The problem is they're ending up in those bad positions just way too often.
Oh yeah, I don't blame them. It's risk reward at those points. It was definitely the safer option to save and try and focus on the next round. Also, the saves always ensuring they could reinvest in the one afterwards. But it just kind of shows you how dominant Dig have been on those actual entries to the bomb sites. They're being so quick and efficient with those hits that they're not even giving Heretics the chance to rotate. And obviously, without kills coming in, they can't even attempt the retakes. Right now, though, Dignitas leading 6-2 already. If they can add on even another couple rounds, they'll be feeling good on this D side. But if it keeps going as it is, we could potentially see them coming out with a double-digit half, maybe even a little bit further up. Perhaps they could manage to actually keep it flawless from this point forward. But how it's been so far, it's not impossible. Good damage, at least being dished out for a while there by Heretics, but unfortunately now actually beginning to... I was going to say by Dignitas, but now, unfortunately, after taking one player dropped, as well as Zerk also being tagged down, it's not the greatest spot for them to be in. So Heretics, this is probably the best round from them so far. Can they capitalize on it, though, is the question. Kiyoshima being up close on Banana, surprisingly alone, does actually get 2 of them.
Leaves Lucky in a position now where he could actually hold this by himself. His teammates are pushing down towards the bottom and middle. Zerk is 1 hit there, 12 HP in the smoke. No spams from Lucky, doesn't want to give away his position. Here's the player up close. Zerk goes through the smoke. Oh, that's dangerous. But Lucky not able to land the shot afterwards. 13 seconds left. Zerk in a 1v3. Gets the bomb planted. Job's already done. He looks for a little bit more. Hiding up behind the pillar. This time, there's not going to be a 3-man save. They've done it. They've finally done it, Dean. Heretics have managed to retake. All it took was 1 player with 10 HP.
I said Dignitas could, with how they've been playing so far, make it a flawless half from the point on of having lost the first 2 rounds. But the second I say that, they lose a round.
Hey, you jinxed it, mate.
16-6 for Team Heretics. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking if there's any Dignitas fans out there that are sad that that Dig didn't win that round, just at Dean Brownie on Twitter. Let him know he jinxed it.
I like what you done there, Mitch. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, 6-3. Look, maybe Heretics pull all the way back. They get 13 consecutive rounds. It's possible. Very unlikely, though. Dig have been playing so well. They've got a lot of cash built up. They're looking for early banana control again. This time, 3 players still here. Kiyoshima's got a smoke out. Nobody's peeking with him. Lucky goes in to try and trade. He's up at the car. It's not going to be expected. He actually already found a molly kill, dropping that up behind. But that smoke didn't fade in time for him to catch anyone fading backwards. They've lost a player trying to get aggressive down middle. Maka found a 1-for-1 trade. That's not ideal, but XMS, here's the steps. They're watching him, though. Oh, no. Heretics. It started out actually kind of poorly with Kiyoshima falling, but they recovered it a little bit, and all of a sudden they've lost the A bomb site. This one here, probably the second retake we're going to see them actually attempt in the game.
Yeah, and even then, they don't have a lot to work with. They have one smoke and one flash to try and actually move in. It does look like both of them will try and group up on short. Lucky actually going through the smoke first, able to quickly pick off Forest, and now it's all on Fryeburg. I was gonna say, taking that aggressive stance from the piss, swings out, and almost managed to catch them in a lineup. Unfortunately, only gets one. Nivara comes in for the trade, and another round does go to Heretics, but again, being very close, as you said, obviously Dignitas had built up a pretty strong economy for themselves, so they're not struggling to buy back in. It's the pressure that's still remaining on Heretics, because Dignitas, they already have that decent foundation. Sure, they don't want to end it on 6 rounds, considering they started the half so strong, but if they can add another 2 rounds, maybe even 3, come out with an 8 or 9 round T-side half, then they'll be feeling extremely good. So it's Heretics right now that really do have everything working against them. Ideally, they need to be coming back and getting the 9 rounds themselves. And that's when I really would start believing that they can still make this happen, bring it onto a map 3, and potentially still fight for the series. Oh, good trade by Forest. If he wasn't able to find that, they could have been in trouble. That's well worth it. Bringing it down to the 4-on-4, get rid of Maka, a man who's been so impactful so far for Heretics. That's an issue for the CT side. And Forest is a big issue for them.
Oh, man. Nivara falls in a 2v4. Again, probably in that position where they have to save. That's the second round in a row we've seen Maka try to get aggressive on either mid or second mid on the rounds respectively, and just get 1-for-1 traded out of it, which really isn't what you want to see. For Heretics, I understand the setup they're going for, but it's just becoming such an issue for them that Dignitas are finding so many openings on such a consistent basis. In Fryeburg, or excuse me, Forest. Who found the trade on second mid?
It was Forest, yeah.
It was
Forest got
yeah.
that kill, then he got another, and then Fryeburg got the player on long as he was coming out mid.
Yeah, he took Nivara down. Okay. Just the 2 Fs. I got confused for a second. Yeah, Forest did a really good job of trading out Get Right. Without that, F's in the chat. F's in the game, F's in the chat. Oh, F's for Kiyoshima. He's burning alive. Unlucky, mate. No, actually, oh no, if they take Lucky down as well. No one's close by, right? He's not going to peek CT. He's not going to peek CT as he peeks CT. That molly saves him from being pushed down. Yeah, should Forest not have found that trade, that would have been Maka finding a kill, getting out successfully, and then bolstering down that short defense. We wouldn't have seen over-aggression coming through. Fryeburg probably wouldn't have found the opening onto Nivara, certainly not as easily. But with that frag, Dig just focused up, pushed into the side, and took a very, very easy round. 7-4. And look, he's AFK. Oh, there we go. He's back. I mean, that amount of time could have hurt them a little bit in towards Banana. But luckily, it won't this time. Only the 2 players here early on as well. Not going for the 3-man stack. And look at how much more passive they're playing this angle. Without having, like, they need a third guy. It feels like they need that babysitter to come and hold their hand. If Nivara's not here to give them a flash over or swing out to trade potentially, although we haven't seen that, they're like, oh, we have to stay on the B site. Don't go banana. It's too dangerous. You can definitely see the difference in structure between when they were playing for so long with David P.I.G. Alling and now. Definitely a lot of a very different Heretics lineup, obviously with different players, but just in terms of the approach overall.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what you said about Banana, it is such an important part of the map, and Heretics, the few times they've tried the challenge for it, have just got destroyed, and it's kind of, I guess, made them a little bit afraid to try and actually get too aggressive around this area. Given that control to Dignitas, given them the room now to try and, again, just swarm this bomb site. Fortunately, this time, Lucky does manage to get one with the smokes down as well. They've actually massively delayed this. It's the bomb that's being dropped around the pool. So that's a very awkward spot now for Dignitas to be in. And again, this is one of the stronger positions we've seen Heretics have. If they can manage to get this, if they can still bring it back to 8 or so rounds on the CT side, then it's definitely not all over. But, oh, Zerk, okay, got blinded for a moment, still lines up the shot on Lucky. Maka looking like he may be tempted to peek relatively soon, which could be dangerous as Zerk is holding for it and does connect the shot despite not getting the kill.
10 seconds left. They've got to get in and plant that bomb. Flash through. They're looking to push, actually boosting up on top. Too late to stop the bomb plant, but not too late to win the round. Zerk is low, up close. Oh, but that's a devastating kill. With Exist being spotted towards the back of the site, XMS has to deal with him, which gives Zerk the time to reposition. I think he was heard scoping in just there. XMS, yeah, definitely heard him. Knows he's around towards Banana. Looking to swing in, but sadly, as he did hear him scoping in, he was just holding the angle. Sat down waiting for it. Poor Zerk couldn't get over there to pick up the nicer skin.
Oh.
And that's about
so
that's about the worst thing that's happened to Dignitas this game.
My
It's just a sad thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few rounds that we've had Heretics fight in. The only thing is it hasn't been enough. Dust 2 as well. I mean, there was moments in the beginning where we thought Heretics were looking really good. I was a bit surprised in the beginning after we did initially call Dignitas were going to be coming through with a win in the series, and then Heretics was like, nah, man. We're good on Dust 2 first half. Second half fell short. And just haven't got going on Inferno at all. As I said, their main issue really has been just this banana control. They've been losing it. Dignitas have got it for free pretty much in the beginning of most rounds, and then if they either want to commit to B or a lot of the time they're going back, they're showing presence around mid, and then they're making the decision, which a lot of the time has been B, to be fair, because it's been working so well. If it ain't broken, don't fix it, I suppose. Plenty of time left on the clock right now, but it does seem like Dignitas, again, do have a pretty set plan in mind. They're all beginning to fade back off over towards the banana side of things. In the meantime, though, Heretics, I think, are considering getting aggressive on mid, so this could work out for a bit of info.
Just the 2 pistols on the crossfire. Going to have to take down 4 players. No utility. And Dignitas about to barrel forward. Smoke's going over. We'll give it away. Oh, heavy nade onto Kiyoshima. Locked out of the bomb site. Lucky's got a lot to do. Io's actually going to go around that smoke and look to frag with the 5-7 as they push forward on Lucky's contact. Here they go. Not able to find it, but Lucky trades back. Takes the kill. Looks for more. But as Lucky looks and finds nothing. Kiyoshima's locked out, and that should be a bomb plant to come through. The rest of the team barreling up through. Banana! Zerk in with a very dangerous peek. Able to eventually take him down. He hasn't spotted the AK down the bottom, I don't think. Not a lot Nivara can do here, though, realistically. And with the way the cash is right now, I'd rather even see him save this AK through. It's a valuable weapon for them. But he hears the scope, and that's more tempting. He has an AK, but he could have an up, and he goes out and finds Zerk. No kit. 1 versus 2. I think he just gets his hands on this op and runs away.
Yeah, I mean, that's a small cause for celebration here, if they can actually save that up over into the next round. With the full loss bonus obviously still going and a bit of economy on everyone, they will have the full fight here. Okay, Fryeburg surprisingly exiting through banana. Ends up getting tagged down. I guess that was his only option because his teammate didn't manage to make it away in the CT spawn either. He ended up going down to the bomb too. So no one survives for Dignitas. The economy isn't ridiculously out of control. There's only 2 rounds left, so it doesn't matter. They have enough to buy here. They'll have enough to buy in the next round if they do need to, so it doesn't really cost them anything. But as we said, the op at least being carried over, it helps boost up the buy a little bit for Maka. If Heretics can get this round, if they can come out with 6 on the halftime, it's not the worst half. It's definitely recoverable. But I mean, Dig, they're trying out some hooks at the moment.
Here we go. Zerk's taken down. That's the first, I want to say, opening duel Maka's won versus the Opper. And not being traded. Maybe the first opening duel Maka's had that he hasn't been traded back immediately anyways. Which is a sort of a more important factor, especially on Inferno. AT side. Dig looking to push up through short. 4-man stack on the A side. This is dangerous. This is the setup we were wanting to see from Heretics for so long, Dean. The solo B player with an op holding aggressively. The stack on A. It's working out for now. Exist in Forest. And a 2v4. Kiyoshima's up on top. Whoop. He's trying to jump and spray them. Now they're just taking their time. Now pushing forward, running that clock down and seeing if they can catch anyone getting overly aggressive. Forest finds one with no trade possible. They could be moving in towards B. This is going to give heavy, heavy pressure towards Maka. But he smokes bottom banana, and realistically, that should stop Dignitas in their tracks. They know at that point that there could be a player, even with where that smoke is, down on T ramp. And that's just too difficult to clear.
Yeah, I don't really want to risk walking into someone behind the smoke, as you said. So instead, going into a 2-man setup on the A bomb site, both actually playing on the bomb site. Kiyoshima obviously being the man to take that first point of contact, Nivara then up close in the corner, and with both of these, he is already relatively tagged up. This is definitely going to be a tough one for Dig to actually try and make their way onto that bomb site, and indeed, not going to be allowed. Kyo gets the first, just manages to play around, then allow for Nivara then to be ready once the push comes in and get that final player. So 5 for Heretics. As I said, bring it to 6. It's a recoverable half, especially if they get the pistol and the opening gun round in the next half, then suddenly they could even get into the lead. So it's definitely still doable despite having a pretty poor start. And having a look at the frags, as we said, just because of the fact that Dignitas won like 6 rounds in a row without really getting too many kills, we've seen people saving every single time. They really don't have that many frags. I mean, if you look at the scoreboard, you by kills at least, you'd probably think the Heretics were winning right now.
That's actually very true. The benefit of saving, what, 6 rounds in a row? That's
yeah, it's just not something you see too often, so I had to point it out. It's an interesting one.
It definitely is.
Exist again, though, having a bit of a poorer performance, which could be an issue once they swap to the CT side.
They've gone back to their old strat of super passive B control. I think they really showed the potential that the setup that they just ran, that we've been asking them almost to run the whole game long, the potential that has, and they've now defected back to their previous and fairly unsuccessful strategy. The only time this hold has really worked for them is when you're getting multi-kills coming through from the likes of Lucky with his Molotovs being pretty on point, but also when Heretics have been quick to rotate. And talking about quick to rotate, look at this position here by XMS. Oh, he's not going to go out the door. Get right makes it away. But once that smoke fades, honestly, Exist and Halzerk aren't in the best of positions. Lucky's got a good angle onto them. He'll have support like he is. Okay. Kiyoshima's now just tucked in dark. He was going to play on contact, but his teammate just got his head ripped off. As he finds one, he's so low. So any more is very unlikely.
Yeah, even being able to get the one there is a good result for sure. And I mean, Nivara doesn't want to give them any room to be able to actually get that bomb down. Comes in, takes down another player, leaving it all on Halzerk. And I mean, with the time that he has available, 22 seconds, there's probably not much that he can do.
Yeah, he's given away the time as well now, having faked out. 1 kill to be found, but caught with his bomb in the open. Just too little time remaining. To be honest, Nivara's swing was a little much for me. If he goes out before that bomb is faked again, there's a pretty good chance he runs right into the rifle out, gets taken down. His teammate can't deny it. Bomb planted and 1v1. The round could have really gotten out of control.
Yeah, it was definitely a risk in general. Could have maybe tried to just play the numbers in the retake, but it did work out to give them a pretty good position up against just Halzerk. Halftime pause, though. We do just have a couple of minutes as always, and it's probably not a bad time for Team Heretics to have a little bit of a reflection and be like, okay, yeah, we had a poor start on the CT side. It took us a while to actually make the adjustments that we needed to make. But in the end, they are able to pull it back up to 6. If they can get the pistol, as I said, then we definitely have a game back in our hand. So I do hope that we will be seeing a little bit more competition here between them. Yesterday as well, we had a little bit of an overall kind of one-sided performance, even though the maps were 16-14 and 16-13. It was at all times pretty much one team controlling it. This game overall, at least back on the first map, was a little bit more back and forth, but so far on the T side overall, that was Dignitas controlling. So I'm hoping we're going to have a closer second half here.
You do have to remember as well that Heretics won the pistol round on the CT side and then followed through with that second as well. And we've seen them, literally, that's the most rounds they've won in a row. 2-2-2. In those positions, it speaks massively in towards the ability of Dignitas. But in a normal situation, this is good. Finding, 6 rounds in a row and then 3 rounds in a row on your T side of Inferno. But I feel like it's even better if you take a look at how many CTs survived each of those rounds. 4-3-3, 4-3-3. It's insane. To be surviving with those many players alive means that every single one of those was a buy round. It's not like we're talking about they won a buy, then it was an eco, and then a buy and an eco. No, this is 6 buy rounds in a row that they were successfully chaining together, which is insane. And again, we highlighted some of the issues Heretics had on their CT sides. At least now they won't be in play.
True, but now we need to see how coordinated they're actually going to be on their T side. One thing I also wanted to point out was for those first 2 rounds, Heretics didn't actually drop a player. They kept 5 alive in both of them. So it ended up then being over those 6 rounds that we talked about where Dignitas only got like a couple kills in each round. That was all the kills they had. up until they eventually did start actually getting a few more kills towards the latter end of the half, when we seen, of course, at that point, Team Heretics were like, nah, we can't save anymore. We have to just go for these rounds. And also, of course, when they did make that adjustment to actually have the better earlier rounds around Banana, which they didn't even do for that long, to be fair. I think once they got the kind of confidence going, they did, as you said, kind of revert back to what they had with that more passive B play, but it still worked. Should be getting back into this pretty soon. We do see already the buys coming in from both sides. Lucky going for a full set of utility with a smoke and some flashes. Maka has a molly. May buy up some more flashes or a smoke as well behind it, depending on what the plan is. And they are now readying up. You probably don't have chat on, Mitch, so I can give you that info.
I do not.
Just waiting on Dignitas to ready up. Everyone spam Dignitas. Start the game, home G. Don't read, please.
This has been a very different series than I envisioned. I mean, looking at this, we talked before the game even started and before we went on stream about how we envisioned it going, and we're saying like Heretics, in terms of the map pool, they look pretty damn good. Certainly overall in recent performances, you would expect Heretics to go ahead and take it. That said, you'd imagine a close series, but would have favored Heretics. At the moment, it looks like Dignitas are outclassing them on a whole nother level. Now, this is a very different team to what I expected to see, although I know Dignitas to be capable. I didn't think they were capable of dismantling Heretics on a map that previously at least two of these players were very, very fond of in their previous roster. And I'm also surprised that Heretics have changed their approach to the counter-terrorist side so much, because I thought the remnants of the old setup would have remained here, that Maka and Kiyashima would sort of push to remain the same, but evidently not.
Yeah, I guess adjusting things based on the new 5-man lineup, of course, trying to make everyone as comfortable as possible. And as we said, they did eventually adjust a little bit more on that CT side. I'm not too sure what was going on in the beginning, but they were trying things, didn't work, and it does happen. I mean, now they have a chance, of course, if they can here, to bring it back on the T side. And as I said, I do like to see competitive games, so I hope that we're going to see them bringing it back into a close one at the very least. But no, okay, trying to go forward on short. Get Right just taps down 2 from the pit. Zerk, I believe, picking up 1. Not sure exactly where that was from. In on Graveyard, actually, so he was peeking up on short as well. And Get Right still fragging. It's all on Kiyashima suddenly. Left alone in the apartments. I wouldn't call it a bachelor's pad, though. And now he's gone. Fryeburg ends it. 10-6 Dignitas. They get that second pistol round, something that they weren't able to do in the first half, and they still came out with a fantastic score. So that's very, 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 very scary at this point. Team Heretics going to have to just take the 1 eco here at least, give 11 over to Dignitas, and especially then if they lose that opening gun round, they're in a lot of trouble.
PP Bison making an appearance. It's not something you see every single day. Fryeburg is rocking it. Wants to be the king again. That's actually a really nice skin. I haven't seen that before. Embargo.
Oh, for the PB Bison, yeah.
Not
no one uses it usually.
Exactly.
Not
an expert on PB Bison skins for a very good reason.
I just don't know most of the newer skins in general. Haven't kept up with them. Every now and again I see one, I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of pretty. How much does it cost though? Yeah, no, not getting that.
It's weird feeling out of touch when we go into some of these games. I'm like, what knife is that, bro? People are like, yeah, it was introduced 6 months ago. Like, how I used to know these things.
Still play a lot. I just don't look at the cases because
exactly.
I don't care.
Oh no, Hauser lit up. This is looking very bad. Forest falls as well. If only they had a PP Bison. Maka's lit, but oh, never mind. I was gonna say maybe you can get the bomb, move to the site. Didn't realize that barreling up through mid was the PP Bison in the hands of the mighty Fryeburg. Not just good on Banana. And 11-6. I mean, they're ahead by a bit, but here come the rifles from Team Heretics, and I'm hoping Fryeburg keeps the PP Bison because I want to see what he can do with that up against AKs. Not a lot, I would imagine.
You never know, man. I've seen some crazy Bison rounds. He has a good spawn if they want to get aggressive on Banana, which I think they are going to, because they do have 3 players over here. I don't think they're going to be staying passive with the 3-man setup like we've seen from Heretics. And indeed, they are looking to try and challenge. Fryeburg He is towards the front of that pack. I don't know if he wants to stick in that position, though, knowing that there is a couple of Heretics players nearby. They just throw their nades down. They put down the utility to try and restrict them. And with some pretty good damage actually being connected, Heretics immediately are like, nah, let's back out of this. We're going to bring this straight over towards A. Zerk looked like he may have had a decent position there on short. Unfortunately, he goes straight down. Get right, though. Able to actually find 2 from the grave. I didn't know they added Martyrdom. And somehow with Forest also pulling one back, it's all on Kiyoshima and XMS. How has this round begun to actually crumble for Heretics? Bomb down at least.
At least. It is the very least of upsides that they've got to work with.
Oh, here it is, the poison.
It's on its way. It might get one, you never know, but being watched by XMS with the AK on site, I think he's going to need a little bit of a distraction from short. Or maybe he's going to be the distraction, to be honest, with the Bison. Run out spraying, get their attention. Let your buddies take them down. He's already making a little bit of noise. Here they come. Kiyoshima took down on the pit. Good kill by XMS. They haven't spotted Kyo just yet. He's going to pop up. Exists, though. Able to find himself one. Could this be the clutch? He's been good on them so far, but no time left. And it looks like that's going to be the end of both of these players. As Heretics pick up another round with the bomb explosion. Dignitas pretty low on cash after that as well. They managed to do well at least to kill all the T's and keep that money low.
Have you used the Bison yourself actually since they made those adjustments back when they made the Krieg nerf and such? I haven't used them myself. Nah, I have the MP9 bound on my numpad in my buy binds, so that's what I just go for. Because I'm that lazy, I don't want to bring up the buy menu. This is a forced buy though coming in from Dignitas. It kind of had to be done because there was a couple players looking at the double eco potentially, but it's really not that strong. And if they do actually drop this one, that does give Heretics a chance to actually start pulling this back up to potentially 9 rounds before they go up against guns again. So definitely an opportunity here for the T side. Emeka connecting some really good damage onto actually the only man that's currently rocking an M4 on the side of Dignitas. So that's not the position they want to be in. Fryeburg taking an extremely aggressive stance, which he is not going to survive. Didn't realize Maka had already crossed over. And speaking of the man, he follows up at a second on Exist, gives them the B bomb site. And this is a position that we see in Team Heretics in quite a few times where they don't really have an option to rotate and even attempt that B retake. They just have to save what they have.
Hi guys, welcome to the Save Simulator stream. Today we're going to show a tutorial on how to save. But for Dignitas, they're doing a good job of it. Decent angles held, yada yada, but look at this. Heretics are already pushed up towards top mid. Kiyoshima's got himself a Mac 10. He wants to find a kill with that, get a little bit of extra cash for himself, build up that bankroll. At the moment, hoping that someone from Dignitas starts to push around, maybe peek down towards Boiler, but nothing given. When this bomb explodes or towards the end of it, I expect he might get a little bit aggressive, presumably in towards the apartments. Oh no. A little bit of a longer range angle for him. Spots one out in the pit. Now they're going to move forward. They've got utility to work with. Oh, and the CTs are already deploying it, which means at this point it's a win. You're costing them extra money. That's reinvestment in the next round if they do want to use it. But at the same time, Dignitas seem to have successfully carried these weapons forward. It only cost them, about $500 smoking a flash. And they're home free for 2 Deagles and a Scout. That's all they're going to have to work with, though. Zerk needs to be landing a couple of shots on that scope.
Yeah, I'm really surprised he's gone for this. Would have got 2,400 in the next round, which wouldn't have been too bad. Did he buy that up? It was one of the saved weapons, right? Sorry, I looked away for a moment. That's me being really stupid. I was like, hang on a second. Sorry, family. They do distract me sometimes. You might have heard it before. That really squeaky noise in the background every now and again is my door when my family, my mother decides she needs something from me. She doesn't always choose the best times, not gonna lie. But yeah, I mean, having the scout saved over, as you said, he needs to do a lot of damage. I'm kind of surprised they've left him just alone on B in a very passive position. Maybe would have been better to have him in combination with a couple of those pistols, because then obviously you can get the tag with the scout. You can have the pistols try and actually finish those players off. You can vice versa if the pistols do some damage. But it is still going to be a 4-man stack that they're walking into towards this A side of the map. 3 of them around mid, a little boost coming in. That Molotov is actually extremely well placed to hold the Get Right off from being able to help them out at all around brackets. So he ended up just kind of being held off on his own. Eventually, then he's in a 1-on-4, gets flanked out by the Mac 10 out of the apartments as well. So this round's over. Zerk, I don't know if he wants to save the scout. Maybe again, it could be an option for sure. But no, gets pushed down as he tries to himself get a little bit of info around Banana. And with that, we do see 9 on the board for Heretics, as I expected. We said that they probably were going to get to this point off the back of course, being able to win that first buy round and then having the eco not going the force buy not going the way of Dignitas. This is where the guns actually come out. This is where it really starts picking up. Will they though? No, I think they're going for another eco.
Yeah, I was going to say, where was their decision-making going to go with this one? The fact that they had like 4,300, they can get armor, they can get M4s, but we talked about the importance of utility on this map. Now, a lot of the times, teams in the early half will still make that buy to try and contest, but oh no, unlucky. And okay, at least the nade is thrown out after death. The Forest does some decent damage to XMS. But the logic of taking this low buy here is they're 11-9 up. They've got a little bit of a lead. They can afford to allow Heretics onto double digits. And buying up those nades and the pistols, they'd love to take XMS and Lucky down. A few more kills. They just want to make sure there's not that much money to play with. Look at that. 2 players, 10 HP or less. That's a prime opportunity for Exist, but yeah, unfortunately, Emeka just spotted him as soon as he took a step to the right. I think it's a very responsible decision from Dignitas. We saw them earlier, like I said, on Dust 2. I was worried about them when we saw saving kind of taking a back seat. They were playing super aggressive and maybe not playing the money ball side of Counter-Strike at times, weighing up whether it was worthwhile, risking some of the things that they had. But that decision reinstills faith. 11-10. 1 round between them. Heretics have got lots of cash, and this is where Dignitas need to make the stop. They've taken 2 ecos to make it happen. It's now or never.
This is ballsy. Straight down mid. I mean, it's not even like they needed the save that previous round. If they're not barely going to use any of the nades, they're just going to rush straight into the action and decimate all of the players of Heretics pretty much. I mean, it leaves Keo and XMS around second mid here. Weren't even able to get into position before those players just were straight down mid. Couldn't do anything. They were afraid there was maybe going to be someone posted up holding that peak in as well. And Dignitas just like, yeah, we're out of here. We're going to go back up through Banana, reposition ourselves now on the bomb site and just leave you in a near impossible 5-on-2. Let's be real. I don't think there's much that they're going to be allowed to do with this unless Dignitas make some pretty big mistakes and give the opportunities away.
That's so tragic as well because XMS and Keo saw the 2 players rushing up Banana from top mid, so they knew there was only 1 player at most going to be holding on A, but they'd left the bomb in T-spawn, so they had to go back and get it. And obviously the logic of this round was to spread out into defaults, hold the positions, get Banana control, and slowly work out where they wanted to go. But instead... And obviously then the bomb would be picked up on whichever player had to rotate. But instead, they had a prime opportunity to overrun the A bomb site, find a 2 versus 1 kill, get a bomb plant, maybe win it out. Instead, they're going to have to push into a late round 2v5 with no real info, no advantages. And it looks like they're going to be, oh, not actually faking it out, just a straight push through the smoke. That didn't work out well for one. And Forest in there with a third Exist to finish it off. Well handled by Dignitas. And like you said, that was a ballsy play, man. Straight, like, especially because they ecoed for the utility. You're going to expect a slow round. They'll run down the clock. Forest is like, nah, I'm just going to rush mid, guys. I've got a good spawn.
It was just so surprising because, as we said, they had taken the extra eco to actually ensure that they would have all that utility and then went for an approach where they didn't need all that much. I mean, they had a lot left. They did use a little bit, obviously, trying to actually get aggressive to stop the players from getting out of ramp and such. But overall, it really wasn't the approach that I was expecting with that round. But obviously, Dignitas, I mean, getting that gun round for themselves, it is the start now of being able to try and actually start building up their lead again here on the CT side and not letting it slip away. But it's also the opportunity for Team Heretics, if they can return around again immediately, to keep trying to build back into it themselves. There's only 2 rounds in the difference. It's certainly become a much closer game than it was looking to be at one point back on that first half. And there's a good find from Emeka. Combining alongside Lucky, they're able to actually burn down Fryeburg, who wanted to get very aggressive on Banana. They had the 3 players over here, so they wanted to try and put someone down towards the bottom so that they could actually rotate back towards that A-bomb, so they put a little bit of a stack up there instead. But it doesn't work out. Heretics, they have a pretty good position, despite not having themselves that map control yet around Banana and Normad.
Big problem for them here. See, they've dropped the smoke on top Banana. Exist is solo holding. Probably not the player you're going to conventionally want to be your only one on a bomb site. Certainly not in this series so far. He's hearing players coming up towards top Banana. The push in from Get Right should prompt a faster rotation than this. I think Forest is a little slow coming over, and they could be punished for it. Exist has nothing to slow them down, no mollies or anything like that. But Forest does. And that might just do something for them. 50 damage on XMS. Sprays through the smoke. Good for Exist. Okay, they're back in this with a chance.
Definitely. The issue is right now all of these CTs are just stacked around the bomb site. 3 of them at least in a pretty decent position. Forest playing around, the smoke goes straight down. Nivara just swings in and the strides exist. And at this point, I don't think there's much Dignitas can do. I don't know if they want to continue actually trying to attempt this retake. Zerk is like, yeah, I'm screwed anyways. He's trapped in construction, so you just run away, get right. You try and save that M4 at the very least, because that's all we're going to get out of this round. And considering that previous round was pretty clean as well, they kept all 5 players alive, they can still reinvest. But as I said, getting that round there for Heretics, now there's 1 round again in the difference. This is becoming a very, very close map. And I am believing that Heretics can do this and potentially bring us onto a map number 3, which I believe would be very competitive between these 2 teams. They both are very strong on Nuke.
That's what we were talking about beforehand. The 3rd map really does feel like either team could have picked it. And indeed, often you would see one of them picking it. But in reality, when there's a middle ground like that, you would be a fool to choose it. It's just a waste of a pick, really, and giving your opponents an opportunity to feel comfortable on your map pick's never where you want to be. The CTs call it timeout, and very valuable timing on it. Searching for another word. Couldn't find it.
Yeah, that happens a lot. There's some teams as well that have names that are words that you'd use in sentences. Yeah, and it just throws you off. You're like, that was no, it wasn't a big round.
That was a large play.
What was it? Yeah, what a large play. It was gigantic.
Yeah, I
huge.
Think this timing is very crucial for Dignitas to be pulling this through without having themselves a victory here. Heretics will overtake them. Again, the money's already pretty good for the T side, so you don't want to allow them any further leads. And we're seeing 3-man stack up towards Banana early on. And this is probably going to indicate aggressive control to come through in just a moment. Zerk's here with the op, and they want to get him into a position where he can hold this part of the map all by himself. Fryeburg, hello. He's going straight on down, but the King's being dethroned. Zerk in the molly. They might have heard him get ticked away. He finds one, looks for a little more. That nade's going to damage him. He takes it, and then just leaves. Can't find the spam as he got blinded up. A 4 versus 4, but the damage they've done to Zerk is probably going to prompt a save if they lose this bomb site without 2 to 3 kills. Has to be a huge hole.
Yeah, that is the issue. There's a lot of pressure on Forest and Get right now, and unfortunately, it's only Forest who's able to actually contribute to the frags for Dignitas. As you said, needing 2, maybe even 3 kills there to make it a retake that they could even look at as worthwhile, I guess is one way to put it. And immediately they're like, no, Zerk, after standing his ground earlier on Banana, after doing a good job with that, unfortunately taking so much damage, he can't afford to rotate, risk losing the op exist, obviously having no money either, saving that M4 over, but it's not going to be enough this time around for them to actually get the full buy in the next round. Only living with 2, not having too much money. Well, I mean, yeah, they can maybe go for a Forest. Obviously, he'll get 2,900, so he'll still be a little bit low. Not enough for Exist to drop one over. Zerk could drop a rifle, though, so I don't think they will. I guess we'll see exactly what they do decide to go for, but at this point, probably 1 eco, let Heretics get into the lead. Not necessarily let them, since they will still have 2 weapons, but most likely let them have a chance to actually claim the lead and then just fight back in. They are still on the CT side. If they can get their economy going and get back into their winning ways, then it's certainly not out of reach for Dignitas right now, but Heretics are looking a lot better.
Yeah, feeling more comfortable when it comes to the attacking side isn't too uncommon. Whenever you're struggling on the CT, like with Heretics, you see it's because they don't know how to contest that map control early on with the offense they're facing. They're feeling uncomfortable, and if you're in that position, when it goes to the attack, you dictate the pace of the half. You decide when the action comes through for the most part, if Forest doesn't decide to just straight push middle. And that's where you can come back into the game massively. Dignitas attempting some aggression. This is going to end very poorly. Or at least it looked like it. XMS and Kiyoshima were starting to move into the apartments, but they've given away their hand as they start to throw out some utility. Get Right is up close. Zerk is here with the AWP. Despite getting naded, the molly's going to prompt them forward. Get Right's not able to grab a kill, and with that, the A defense is under pretty heavy threat. Zerk's going to try to go up and claim some apps control, but they're not peeking, and they have either angle covered, so they can just double peek into this one. But he gets out of there with 1 frag at least. Now Short's under threat. They're coming up through long as well. And where does Zerk go?
Well, apparently he goes forward on Short. I was hoping maybe that he could catch 1 or 2 players around here, most likely, so he could get some kills. He's back into the bomb site. Obviously knows there's one of Boiler, hunts it down through the flash, which did actually hit him and give away the sound cue, but it didn't matter. Kiyoshima not able to react in time. Nivara in a bit of trouble there as well, as his back was exposed to the deagle, and suddenly he's left alone. 1-on-2 to try and save this round right now for Team Heretics. Dignitas, they only had these 2 weapons really coming into this round. This would be heartbreaking if he's not able to pull it off. Gets the first and knows Exist is on long. Pops through, the headshot comes in. I think Nivara channeling his genes right there for that final headshot.
Well, he really played that about as perfectly as he could. But Halzer,
Yeah.
4 kills. And that is so disappointing because when he peeked into the site, when he took that fight, Exist wasn't far enough into the smoke. You needed to swing that as 2. As soon as Halzerk is calling, presumably calling that he's swinging onto the site, he's looking for it, that's when Exist needs to make a move forward. But it's hard because there's so many angles he could be holding where maybe he has an angle on Exist swings, dies, and Halzerk can't trade. Or as we saw, Exist can't trade because he didn't swing fast enough. It's just good positioning at the end of the day by Nivara. Lucky that they were coming from 2 separate angles and, well, that he hit his shots as well.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in really right there, unfortunately. For them, as you said, because of the box that's on the bomb site, obviously there is the chance for that player to actually separate the fights into the 1-on-1s, even if they both try and peek the bomb site itself at the same time. So they tried to, I guess, time it out a little bit, but it doesn't work. And I mean, overall, they can still be pretty happy with that round. They didn't really have too much investment behind the 2 weapons that they had saved over. They had some pistols and such come out. So there is still a good chance here for Dignitas as they come onto their next gun round. If they can get that one in their favor, start building something back up, then this could still be their game. But overall, I've got to tell you the truth right now. I am starting to believe that we are going to see a map number 3. As you said, Heretics are just looking a lot better on the offense right now. Pausing at the moment. I would believe this is a technical. But okay, TeamSpeak crash for Dignitas. Just a quick update.
Okay. You
All
even
good
look
now.
at how things have been playing out for Dignitas in that previous round. You could think, well, you know what? They were in a 1v1 in the end, or 2v1. It was close. That was Halzerk just dominating. I mean, he's finding every single duel. Without him landing all of those shots, that round is a clean swipe for Heretics, and that's what we've been seeing the majority of the time. It comes back to what we said on Dust 2, actually, about Heretics. If you've got rounds that you're building up but relying on 2 players dominating those duels, finding multi-kills, whether it's Forest, whether it's Halzerk in this map, it certainly feels like it's the 2 of them that are relied on their CT side for those picks. Then where do you go from there? You know, you're in a position where, realistically, you can't rely on that coming through every single round. And at the moment, Dignitas need to. 4 rounds need to be won. Heretics have got money. They'll be buying up at least in the next round, probably the one afterwards, provided bomb plans come through. Which means Dignitas have got to win probably 3 buy rounds out of 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of similar to what we seen towards the end of that previous map, where Dignitas were the ones who just had the economy controlled, and even though it was a little bit back and forth, they were the ones who were able to come out on top of it because of the money, of course, favoring them at that point due to having the initial control of the half. And that's certainly the case here. As you said, Dignitas, it's definitely doable, but they will have to come out on top of a couple of gun rounds. Even after 1 more, there'd still be some money left on Nivara and Emeka, most likely. So depending on bomb plants and such, maybe another could be scraped out. So it's certainly a tough spot for them to be in. Right now, though, time is getting quite low, and we haven't really seen any contact being found. 0 damage output so far from both sides. It's only now 28 seconds that they do begin to move in towards B, but Fryeburg, he's ready to actually put down that first player. Smokes on towards the bomb site as well to allow them to try and play around them. It's Exist now who's actually up close, and unfortunately, he's not able to get anything done. With Fryeburg now being low, he's in a lot of trouble, and indeed goes straight down. Heretics beginning to recover this one, but they need to get that bomb planted quickly. Only 9 seconds left, and it should go down.
Whoa.
Unless the spam comes through. Okay, that was so close. I was very worried. Fortunately, the bomb at least is put in place.
Ochio watching the right angle, so Forest has got a 1 versus 2 to win out. The upshot missed. Forest looking to finish him off, but he can't land it just yet. Emeka swings through to find the double. And that is 14-12. Team Heretics closing in on that victory. It has been a very tough series for them so far. A big fight had to come through to pull it all the way back, but Dignitas, they are letting up. Their foot is off the gas pedal, and it might have slipped onto the brakes. Now they've got very little money. This pistol's going to come through. They're going to fight potentially for an overtime. But Inferno has still got a lot of those close-range angles on offer. So far, though, we haven't seen too much. Heretics, when they're up against these weaker weapons, well, up against the pistols, they tend to win those duels. They're not giving themselves, or they're not putting themselves in harm's way where they can be destroyed by them. So far, when we have seen weaker buys work out for Dignitas, it's been because they have like Zerk finding a 4K with the single AWP or something like that. But with no heavier weapons for Dignitas, I think Heretics should be taking this one fairly clean.
Yeah, on paper for sure, but I mean, perhaps we do see that Forest that we had pushing down mid earlier on, perhaps feeling a little bit more free with only the deagle in his hands. Unfortunately, already one player has been removed. Zerk decided he wanted to challenge Banana aggressively. Fryeburg is still here. It's the king, and he's holding firm right now. Actually gets himself a second headshot. I don't know if he can do much about Lucky. If he had of, that would have been the bomb, but smoke goes down. He's able to escape away, and obviously at this point, they know the A-bomb site is completely clear. I'm actually sending Kiyoshima straight out to try and hunt them down, knowing that there is weapons over there for him to retrieve, and indeed dropping them and stopping that up from being carried over. But if he picked up from Emeka, nah, they have loads of money. I guess if they want to maybe just go for rifles as well, that could have been an option, but they go back on the up, so it is a bit surprising he didn't just pick it up. Shouldn't really affect them, though. 15-12, as you said, Dignitas, their main goal from that round was to just try and do a little bit of something and then come into this round and now begin to play for that overtime. 3 rounds in a row, CT side Inferno. It doesn't sound on paper that out of reach, but just looking at that scoreboard, looking at how many rounds it has been for Team Heretics, taking themselves, at this point now, 9 of the last 10 rounds. It just doesn't look too good for Dignitas, and already Zerk has been eliminated. Oh god, no, Fryeburg. Oh, I thought he was going to try and follow up on the exact same angle, just retrieving the up.
Yeah, that would have been a very dangerous thing to do, and Emeka was holding it as well, so he was almost walking into crosshairs. Solo holding towards the B site. Got the op at least now in his hands, scoped in. Going to be smoked off the angle though, and the molly goes down. We'll keep them back for a couple moments. The Dignitas still not convinced it's going to be a hit. They've got 3 players on the A side as all the utility comes over. Fryeburg now knows what's going down, and he doesn't even want to go through that smoke. Spamming, not finding anything, and Team Heretics should be getting that bomb planted. With, again, a very rough retake to come through for Dignitas, but they have to go for it this time. There's no other choice.
Yeah, I mean, they have a small bit of utility to try and help them work their way in. One smoke already being put down towards Banana and Molly and a couple of flashes, but they're taking their time, surprisingly. The bomb already at this point taken away relatively quickly. Trying to go forward. Emeka is the first man of contact, gets one. They're very lucky. They're able to trade back in, and despite Fryeburg actually putting up a pretty solid effort in this retake, he's now left on 13 health in a 1-on-2, and I mean, my mom thinks 13 is an unlucky number, and maybe it was in this case for Fryeburg.